Hello and welcome to week 2, episode 2 of the Devil's Bit podcast dedicated to everything Man United, now, then, and forever. You're here with myself, Rory, Ray, and Glenn. And today we cast our eye back on everything that happened at Old Trafford during the week, and we look at that game against Everton coming up on Saturday night. So during this podcast, as you know, we like to share comments from our followers that comment on our posts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can find us on those social media channels at the Devil's Bit. So get involved there, share your thoughts, and show your passion for the Reds. So me and the lads were talking there before we started recording, and it's been a busy week at Old Trafford. The transfer window closed on Monday, and we saw 8 players going out, 6 on loan and 2 permanently. We also saw Marcus Rashford overtake Eric Cantona on goals. So Rashford now has 83 goals, which is a great thing for him. And it's a case of forgotten man. We see Phil Jones making an appearance again, and he's announced for that Europa League squad. And of course, that big win against Southampton there during the week, 9-0, phenomenal. So we'll touch on that more. But first, I think we need to go straight into it. And lads, I'm going to bring up the topic of Paul Pogba. So he got player of the month there for the month of January, which is excellent. But he didn't make the team against Southampton on Tuesday night. And it was the same night that his brother was interviewed on Spanish television, talking about, is Pogba going to go and how he's going to go. So I'm just going to read out that quote that he said there. So this is Paul Pogba's brother. There's a year left in his contract. I don't know if he'll stay then. The only thing I can say is if United want money, they'll have to sell him now. That's the only thing I can say. If not, he'll go for free. I haven't heard anything about him renewing his contract. So, stuff has come from his agent, Glenn, and now stuff is coming from Paul Pogba's brother. What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think Pogba deserves to be player of the month of January. I think he's been playing well the last couple of months, or a month or two. You think about the goals against Fulham and Burnley. But unfortunately, it's this sort of thing that, has the fans' opinion divided on Pogba. Why is Paul Pogba's brother going on the Spanish telly talking about Paul Pogba's contract? I understand he has to go onto them sort of platforms to, enhance his own career. But he could have squashed that straight away when I asked the question about Pogba and said, I don't speak for Paul or something along those lines. In regards to how he said it, I feel comments like this always seem to come out when the club need to win games or we're under pressure or we're actually performing well. And in this case, it happened when we're doing really well at the minute. The lads are out there playing, they're beating Southampton 9-0. Well, this fella is banging on about Pogba leaving, which is mad because Pogba didn't even start the game. And the one thing I find funny about it is that this is not the first time that he's come out and said that. Like this, last February, he came out and said that Pogba wants to leave to win titles and play Champions League football. Well, guess what? We qualified for the Champions League last season. Pogba was involved in that squad. We didn't make it out of the group stage. Now we're challenging for the title. So I don't understand why this talk would be coming out. And I think Pogba has to come out and say something about this, or should have said something about this. He uses social media all the time. So I don't know why he didn't come out and say something like he'd nothing to do with them sort of quotes, or why he's not saying to his brother, why are you talking about my business? That's why I think it's actually orchestrated by Pogba himself, which is a pity. But in my opinion, I think, we get to the end of the season, see if someone offers what we value him at, and then let him go. That's my opinion on it, because for me personally, it's just sick of sort of listening to about Pogba, the Pogba show, you know what I mean? And as I said, it's not the first time his brother said something, it's not the first time his agent said something, it's about the fifth or sixth time, if not more.
Yeah, and I suppose, what you think there is that big money in him?
We bought him for 89 million, so I don't know what the club value him at now. But I can't see Real Madrid splashing out big money for him, and I can't see Barcelona splashing out big money for him, especially in the current situation with COVID and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think we should rush to let him go for pittance. We should get what we value him as and see if anyone can meet that financially. Maybe PSG, but I don't really know, you know what I mean? But something has to be put a stop there. Like if you're in that United dressing room now, and you're at the coming in after putting in performance like that, albeit against 10 men, And the next day, it's dominated about comments about a player that wasn't even playing that week. What way would you feel? You know, I would be sick of that at that stage. I wonder if anyone's in the dressing room actually saying, listen, what's going on, dude?
Good points, Dan. I'm just going to pull up some stats now here in Paul Pogba. So, looking at the season stats from the Premier League, they're saying that he has 4 goals this year already. His shot accuracy is 50%, which is actually quite good, I think. But then if we're looking at his tackles, so he's put in 34 tackles and he's won 25 of them. So I'll get your opinion on that, Ray. And then 50-50s one, he's won 43 out of 79. So that's over 50% as well. He's made 27 appearances and he's played 1,778 minutes. So Ray, what do you think about some of those stats and what Pogba's doing for the team and all this commotion? Like, what's going on?
Yes, Ferrari. I think the stats are sort of proving the fact that he stepped up to the plate a little bit in the especially last month and the month before. He's put in some good performances, got Player of the Month in January. And I think since Bruno's come in, it sort of gave him a bit of freedom in there, you know, all the spotlight's on Bruno, and it's great. It works for the team. He can create lower. You have Bruno there for the final pass. And it just takes a bit of the spotlight off Pogba now. In terms of him, if his brother coming out and saying whatever he said, we all know he wants to go to Madrid, and the club don't want to let him go. That's where I think we are. Now, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if the club have even presented him with a new contract even. So you don't know where to take or what to even say about it. I just know for a fact that he's a great player. And we should try and get the best out of him. We should try and get the best out of him till the summer. Because it's clear that he wants to go. We should try and use him the most. He got let down, I'd say, in the game against Southampton. He's probably told, listen, you're not playing. These two are stepping in instead of you. So you just change the system or whatever. He's probably disappointed. He might have got on the phone to his brother or whatever, you know, had a word, listen, I'm done, I'm fed up, blah, 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 the usual. But there's no doubt that we need that type of player in our squad where we want to get it. It's that type of quality is Paul Pogba. And there's very few out there in that position at the minute. So if we're looking to replace him, we're going to need some time and we're going to need more than one player, I think. So that's why I think we don't know where we're going, because there's nothing officially that came out yet to say what the story is with Paul Pogba, because we probably don't even know what direction we're going. Are we going to present him with a contract that's going to be hard for him to turn down? Or are we going to let him go for probably a little less than he's worth and try and get two players in that can replace his attacking abilities and his distribution abilities? So that's what I think we are at the minute.
Ray, do you think that he's playing, because he is playing well, right? But do you think he's playing well to put himself in the shop window, or do you think he's playing well to try and drag United to the title?
Well, I think when under Jose, it would have been hard for a player like him to play under Jose. So I think when Ollie came in, we seen it. He had a good run, yeah? We did well. We finished well, I think, was at the end of the season. And then what happened to him? He came back under Ollie. He had an injury. He came back. He got rushed into playing against, I think it was a championship team. Who was that team that we played anyway? He must have got injured in that game because he didn't play after that again, the same injury. And then he came back. I think he had a couple of games or whatever, and then he got COVID. So he didn't play a lot in the last year, let's say, under Ollie. So now he's after getting back in. He's getting fit, and you can see the type of player he is. Now, whether you want to put that down to he's playing for a move, it could be possible, because them comments came out from Raiola around the same time when he was getting into the squad. So that could be their plot. They could be, you know. He looks to me like he wants out, Glenn, and it looks to me like he wants to go to Real Madrid and Real Madrid only. There's offers coming in for him. I heard that offers were coming in from Juventus, but they were giving players. They were handing us players like Pjanic and someone else, I forgot the name. But we didn't take them. We wanted money for him. I would say he's holding out for Real Madrid because he said it. That's his dream club. He never shuts up about Real Madrid. So for any player of that sort of A-star, that's the club they want to play for, unfortunately, if you're not English, you know. So his dream has been to play for that club. And I'd say he's coming to an end. I say he's coming to that that that, that age in his career now where he's not like, if I don't get away now, I'm probably never gonna get away. So committing to United now is probably not in his intentions.
I just feel, sorry for Ollie, honestly, because Ollie's never actually come out and criticised Pogba about anything. And let's be honest, there's a couple of things that happened that he could have. I think Ollie's taken his frustration out on the likes of Raiola, who have come out with comments about Pogba wanting to leave. But I just feel like since he's been at the club, it's all been cryptic. All these messages and all, that gets put out there. Like, for instance, Ray, if I'm coming out and I'm talking about you in your football career and I'm saying, oh, Ray wants to live here, or Ray wants to live there, you didn't want that. You didn't want me talking about you. You would tell me, listen, stop talking. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
leave that out.
And it's easier to do it when it's your brother. Tell him, listen, don't say that. But there doesn't seem to be anything from Pogba to stop any of this. He's never come out and said that about Raiola. He hasn't come out and said that about his brother. It's the second time his brother has come out and said stuff. I heard you've quoted saying that he wants to, we'll get down at the end of the season and talk to the club to see where they go from there. That's grand. But I feel like United at the moment and the board and all are fearful of losing them. But we have lost more influential players than Pogba over the years and gone on to have success. So I don't understand why we're sort of being held over a barrel here for them. I really don't.
There's good signs that the team can go forward, Glenn. Like, even in the game against Southampton, I know that game changed in 2 minutes in the red card, but still, like, I think that's the team that Ollie uses when we want to be a lot more direct in our football. I think when we play Pogba in there, it sort of has to go through Pogba everything. But when he's not in there, we can move the ball a little bit quicker, I think. So we showed signs that we can deal without him.
Yeah, boys, and
It's
you know
just
what?
at the
Talk.
end of the day.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Rory.
No, you go ahead, bro.
At the end of the day, he's a World Cup winner, and as I was saying, we have to get the best out of him until that time comes, and get the most money for him as well, to be able to replace him with one or two quality players.
Yeah, and but we're talking about a player there, Paul Pogba, who it seems like he wants to leave. You know, well, now let's talk about a player who hasn't been seen in over 12 months, right? So Phil Jones played for Manchester United when he scored 6-0 at Tranmere last January. All right. So here's what Ollie said about Phil Jones there recently. So I wish him back into the squad as quick as I can. He's a solid citizen and one of those you can trust. He's working very hard to get back for us and for himself. So Ray, we haven't seen Phil Jones in a long time, and that Europa League squad was announced on Wednesday, and Phil Jones is part of it. So did that come as a surprise to you, or how you
Yeah,
feel?
it did, because we were just talking about where's Phil Jones,
Yeah.
and then a statement comes out saying that he's fit and he's trying to get fit, and give him a chance, Rory. Give him a chance and see what happens. He deserves a chance. He wants to play, obviously, and all he's going on about trust. You can trust a player like him, and I don't know what that means, but we'll see where he's at. And I'd say he's hungry to play. So if you can push them with our centre backs and try and get into that team at the minute, I still don't think. Personally, I don't think he will. Personally, I think the other three defenders are better than him, and I think we need a quality centre back. And they're just big shoes to fill. That position's big. It's an important position to fill, and I just honestly don't think Phil Jones at the moment or in the last few years has showed that he can do that. He can fill them boots, fill that position up. But we'll see. Like, I'm waiting to see what he's all about, and if he's still able. And
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I'm curious to see. I'm curious.
Is he able? I think that's the thing, because the questions were asked about his fitness, wasn't it, Glenn? So, you know, it's been a year. So is Ollie basically saying that he's been training to get back to match fitness to play for United and to fill that role, or what's the crack?
I'd like to think that Ollie's been smart and astute in trying to put Phil Jones in the shop window, because I can't see Phil Jones getting back into the team. I mean, it's a long, it's years now since Alex Ferguson was quoted as saying that he's a future Manchester United captain, or he could be the best player ever to race Old Trafford. Unfortunately, he's come down with a lot of injuries, and I don't feel like in the transfer window just gone that anybody would have come in from the Premier League and wanted to buy Phil Jones. I don't see that happening. Or yeah, I don't see it happen. I don't see that it would have happened. Plus, he's on more wages, or bigger wages than clubs are probably willing to pay during this pandemic. So, he's on a hefty contract now because he signed a 5-year deal there when Ollie Ford came in. So I think it's a good move for Ollie to put him into the Europa League squad, because it'll give him game time. It'll give the likes of Maguire and Lindelof a chance to rest up for the league. And it'll give it a chance for the likes of Tuanzebe, Van der Beek and Telles and all to build up their minutes. I think Phil Jones is only in that squad so we can, get something for him.
Yeah.
That's what we think. He's definitely not going to be able
Yeah.
to force.
And we,
Pretty
we
right.
touched on centre backs last week and Maguire. So what is it that takes a good centre back? Like, who are we looking at?
Sorry, we seen the importance of a good centre back with our biggest rivals, Liverpool. Like, you take him out of the team and you have to compensate from all over the pitch just to fill that position up. Like, you're taking away from the midfield of Liverpool, and you're taking away then from the creative side of things, and it just goes to show you how important that player is. People are doubting them, even though they're still great players, even though they're still a great team. People are really doubting Liverpool at the minute. So I'm just relating back to that situation as how much it would improve United. A decent centre back would be huge. It's just so important for the team, even defending first and foremost, but also going forward. So yeah, very important position. And yes,
Yeah, and I think that's a
I
good. I
do
think
think
that's yeah, that's a good example right there with Liverpool, because we saw Van Dijk, he's gone, and we could say Liverpool aren't at their best, and we might put it down to that. But it is a good example of what a good centre back can do. Now we're gonna move on. I'm gonna throw in a trivia question, as we usually do. So the question is, which Premier League winner joined Everton for Manchester United in the summer of 1995? And I'll give the answer to that question at the end. So hold on to your hats. So we're moving back in time, let's say, to Tuesday night's game against Southampton. And what a performance it was. We did say it was against 10 men and then 9. But what a result, boys. So let's talk a bit, Glenn, about that performance and the squad and what happened, what went so well.
Yeah, it was a good performance. I mean, anytime you score 9 goals, it's a good performance. I was a bit worried when Southampton went down to 10 minutes so early, because how many times have we seen teams lose a man and then sit in and get that extra bit more determination to grind out a result? And how the opposition that have the one-man advantage, how many times have we seen them take the foot off the pedal and the mindset changes? And in the last couple of weeks, United haven't been able to sense when the game's here to be won, or haven't been able to smell blood, really. But, I was delighted to see, that we ground Southampton down. We kept the ball moving from side to side. We didn't give them a chance to settle into any positions. We didn't take too many touches on the ball, and we got our crosses in early, and we were ruthless. That's the way it felt to me, clinical. 4-0 up at half time, and then you look into the second half, then the game's over. Ollie's brought on Martial and Van der Beek, which I thought was a great move, just to try and get Martial's confidence up in front of the goal and to try and get minutes into Van der Beek to see what he can do. And if we're honest, early in the second half, or for the full 20 minutes of the second half, it didn't look like it was a 9-0 game. But then, you look at Martial scoring a great goal, great assist by Fernandes, and you look at dominate, scored in quick succession, and then we seen that ruthlessness again, where we were just like, let's go and get more. So all in all, it was a good performance. But we have to say, obviously, the sending off changed the game. And it's Southampton were weak anyway. They were missing a good couple of players through injury. But it was delighted with the way we performed, and it's obviously a great confidence built up for the team and for the players like Martial and Van der Beek to just get into the team. And obviously for Martial to score a couple of goals, and for Dan James as well. Let's not forget he got the 9 point. You know what I mean? And it got Bruno Fernandes back in. You know, he obviously scored a penalty and he set up a couple of goals. So we're doing all right. We did all right.
Yeah, right. And I know we were
the
watching
goals
that game
came.
watching that game tonight, and we were in the chat, and you know it was message after message non-stop. But so what did you think when you were watching that?
I was very curious to see how we'd come out in the second half. And when I seen with the pace we were playing the game, I was a bit nervous, honestly. I was like, it's 4-0 here. All we need now is someone to get injured, and this game is, puts a dim on it, a huge dim on it, because you need players. I was thinking it's very hectic at the minute, players. The level of play was like really high, so I was thinking the speed of the game might just go the wrong way for us. So we came out and we settled down after a while, and we got the goals, and I was delighted with that, to see goal after goal, and they came from everywhere really. So there hasn't been a win like that for a while. So it was nice to, not have to sit back in the 80th minute and think, oh, what's going to happen? Are we going to get the goal? Are we going to get the winner? It was just goal after goal. And the subs, like Glenn was saying, was, yeah, very, very good. We got to see 45 minutes of Van der Beek, which was decent.
Yeah. And
great stuff.
What you think about said it there, like the confidence there, that and hopefully we'll take that into the game on Saturday at Old Trafford.
Well,
that's the main thing, Roddy. That's the main thing. You have to take it into the game. Like it's a great win. Take it into the next game, and kick on.
I'll just say something here, lads. Just like, obviously, 9-0 is great and all, you know what I mean? As you said, right, everyone getting on the score sheet and all, spreading the goals around. But we're talking about centre backs there in the last segment and all, and we gave a couple of chances away to 10 men, which wasn't great. Like, I mean, the free kick, everyone switched off. Southampton played quick. They ultimately scored from it. It's given us offside. I mean, that's extremely high. You know what I mean? If that was offside, but we get away with that one. And then, a couple of minutes later, Che Adams again, he gets into the box, the ball's crossed the end, he should have scored, but he planted over the bar, like, you know what I mean? And I'm saying to myself, like, we're in total control of a game. We shouldn't be giving away chances like that, you know what I mean? Like, look at what we're coming up against in terms of City going for the title. Like, when they dominate football games, it's very rare that an opposition like Southampton down to 10 men would get the opportunities that we gave away, that we gave them. You know what I mean? But I was really disappointed with the free kick and the organisation of it. Everyone has that back home. No one switched on. Like, I know, you look at Luke Shaw, he wasn't on the pitch, we Fred at left back and all, but even still, you know what I mean? You need to be tuned in all the time. And stuff like that could cost us going forward against, that quality of opposition. If we wait stupid free kick.
The main thing would have been 4-0 coming out back onto the pitch. You want to keep a clean sheet. It didn't look like that. It looked like we were just going for goal every single play. And that's great. But you're right, the gaps that were left, and the speed, we were exposed a couple of times tracking back. It was just like, you're winning 4-0. Play around the back for a while, You had Maguire up in Van der Beek's position at times, and he's asking Maguire for the ball to the right of him, and he's just purely ignoring him. How's Donny going to be able to express himself when he's not getting the ball off your centre back, when your centre back is dictating play? Like, so yeah, it was 9-0, but exactly like you said, there was a few things in there where you're like, right, you wouldn't get away with that against the big teams.
Do you think the players have confidence of Van der Beek? So it's just what
No,
you said about
we were
Maguire and
talking
passing
about
the ball. Do you think
we,
that?
we were talking about it, yeah. We were talking about it, and it's mad. Like every time he comes on, he's just like he's always trying to impress a little bit too much. Just goes to it goes to show you, points fingers at players really not trusting him. He's really trying to earn people's trust too much when he should be just relaxing into the team, knowing that he's gonna get a chance like this again. It felt like when he came on that he might not get this chance again for a long while. So he was like, I have to do everything. And he looked all over the place a little bit. He was getting in the way of 1-2s. And just referring back to that, like if I'm playing and if I'm in a good position, I'd want that ball off that centre back, you know. They'll just annoy you. It's like I'm right there, give us the ball. But he never got it. And there was a couple of we were talking about this and we were saying exactly what you just asked it. I don't think the players trust him in the team.
It feels like to me like that. I just said Harry Maguire pushing up into midfield and all. Like, where does that leave Van der Beek? Like, you know what I mean? It looked like he was the spare man. You know what I mean? On a team where people don't want to give him the ball. Like, I mean, I look. I wanted to work out for Van der Beek. I really, yeah. Sometimes when he comes on, you look at him on the pitch. Sometimes you see him. For instance, I think it was the FA Cup game against Watford. A couple of times McTominay was on the ball, and you have Van der Beek pointing to McTominay where he thinks the ball should go, whether it's to him or to another player, and constantly he was being ignored. That's what I felt. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking to myself, I don't trust in him. You know what I mean? Or what's going on? But hopefully he comes into a bit of form, and hopefully he'll like to the Europa League. You know what I mean? Because if we go, we're going to have to just put out a team, a second string team. And at the moment, Van der Beek falls under that category, doesn't he? Really, like
you just have to keep giving him chances. Obviously, he has the quality, but if we keep seeing performances like that, you're gonna doubt his quality. I was saying that here. I was like, I'm starting to doubt is he even good enough, and I'm starting to think that actually the management don't think he's good enough to be in the team, or not yet, at least. You know.
Would you, when we won that penalty, really, because the result was our side anyway? No, this is me, like, just talking. Do you think
To give it to him.
do you think it would have been right to say, listen, go and get your name on the score sheet? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know there's a chance of you missing it. If he misses it, probably puts him down. But do you think that should have been a call?
Would he like that? Would he like that? Would he? Oh, here, take it. Will you? Stop crying.
No, but then you look at the penalty as well, Ray. You know what I mean? Should Martial have taken that penalty? The hat-trick even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I've no problem
nice.
Fernandes taking penalties, but just, you know what I mean? Just because the game was so well with Sui, you know what I mean? Sometimes you like to see them things. Like, I remember, you know, 2005, I think Chelsea were going for the title, and Makelele hadn't scored all season, and, they won a penalty the last day of the season. The Chelsea players gave him the ball, and he steps up to take it, and he missed it. But he scored the rebound, but it was just like, you know what I mean? You see them teams just saying, yeah, that's a team to get on. I'm not saying United aren't to get up, but just I would like to see a little bit more encouragement from the United players towards Van der Beek, especially
people
on the pitch. I mean, a little bit more talking to him. Like,
perfect game to do it against 10 men for most of it, and then like perfect game to trust them players on the ball, step back a little bit, and let Van der Beek control the game for a while and see what happens. 5-10 minutes, let him grow into the game. He just looked like he was running around like a headless chicken, like trying to keep up, trying to fit in somewhere in the midfield where mostly just getting in the way, felt like. But look, like you said, there's loads of games to come up. FA Cup game and that Real Sociedad, game, and it'll probably suit him. He's played a couple of games for Ajax like that at that level, and we'll see what happens. It'd be nice to see him in there. Be nice to see him in there with a little bit more authority, and let's see what he has. He has to prove himself at some level. It's not a fitness issue anymore. If it ever was that, it can't be. We've been training ages now. So what's the issue? We'd like to know.
Yeah, boys, and I'm just going to pull up a few stats there on Van der Beek that I got. See that he has 12 appearances for Man United this year already. He has one goal, and if you remember, that goal was actually against Crystal Palace at the start of the season, which was great for him to get. 8 wins and 4 losses. So, it seems he did get a good start, and then maybe he was benched. But boys, at the same time, we have to move on to a different subject, and that's the game against Everton coming up. So both of you mentioned there about bringing the confidence of that 9-0 win against Southampton into this game, because Everton this season have actually been doing much better away than at home, and especially in the last couple of games. So, Glenn, this is a must win for Man United because we're going for that title chase. So, how do you see Saturday night going?
Oh, Jesus, man. To be honest, I'm a bit nervous about that game, yeah, because I mean, Everton, they're going to be a different prospect than Southampton, where or what Southampton would have been even if they had remained with 11 men. I mean, they're coming to Old Trafford on on Saturday, having won 4 games on the bounce for the fourth time since 1985 away games. Well, they're in great form. They're in better form away from home than they are at home. So it's going to be really tough, absolutely. And you look at them; they're trying to put pressure on Liverpool. They're 4 points behind Liverpool, so there's a huge incentive there for Everton to try and catch up with them. You know what I mean? And obviously overtake them and try and finish above them. And I think you're looking at Everton like before when they used to come to Old Trafford, you'd be thinking, yeah, okay, decent side, but we can get the win there, because they're a bit weak or the managers are not great. But you're looking at Ancelotti, man, and he's world class and he's doing some job there. He's added a bit of staleness to them, like, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, oh, you know what I mean? They're playing a bit of ball. Um, they're not getting really caught out really. The only thing they're getting caught out with is probably the goalkeeper. He's not great. But I think it's going to be extremely tough. I don't see how I can't tell you how we're gonna go and win that game other than what I mean. Just try and go for the juggler straight away. Put them under pressure. We're the home team. Be ruthless, be clinical the way we're against Southampton. But I mean, Everton have some good players. Like you're looking at Calvin now, and he's in great form. You know what I mean? That's going to be a test for whoever's playing at the back part of the name. You know what I mean? He's going to be big, strong, physical. You're looking at James Rodriguez, you know what I mean? Gylfi Sigurdsson and all that. So it's going to be tough, really tough.
Yeah,
Ray,
Everton and
how are you feeling?
it's just Everton, like Glenn was saying, a team that like to play at Old Trafford as well, and always want to give us a good game, and they have been good games lately. It's just gonna be a back and forth, but not that type of back and forth open game. More of a, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of probing from us. Probably a Pogba could come back in, and like we were saying, it won't be that direct football where it's just here you go, we'll go at you and you go at us and see what happens. It'd be more sort of like Glenn was saying, Ancelotti in there. It'd be a tactical game, I'd say, and if it goes into deep in one of them, a massive tactical game, Ancelotti's always going to have the upper hand. So what we're relying on, I think, is our quality. It's our quality up front. I think we're relying on Cavani, and I think we're relying on Lindelof to do a job on Calvin Lewin, because he's going to target Lindelof. He's going to sit on Lindelof, and they're going to play long on top of him. Everything's going to be on that side. So yeah, it's going to be a complete different game from Southampton for sure. And I'd say, if we get a 1-0 win, probably a great win. But it can go any way, really. It's difficult to say, Rory.
I think you look at it. I think last week we sat here and we said that Ollie hadn't got a great record against Arsenal and against Arteta especially, like, you know what I mean, and that sort of came up to be true, you know what I mean, coming away with a draw, like, you know what I mean. So hasn't beaten them since they've been playing each other in the Premier League, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Hannah, Roddy, but I think Ancelotti and Solskjaer have come up against each other 3 times. So I think twice in the Premier League so far, once in the League Cup, and I think they come out on top. I think it's one draw, 2 wins. The draw coming in the Premier League, and the win coming in at Goodison this season, and then win coming in the League Cup as well at Goodison. You know what I mean? So all he sort of looks to, I don't want to say have Ancelotti's number, but he definitely has one up on him. So we'll be looking, to try and get, Saturday night. But look, if you want to be challenging for the titles, these are the games you have to win. You know what I mean? The tough games. I mean, I think anything other than a win, and we're gifting it to City, really. You know what I mean? I mean, if we win on Saturday night, City and Liverpool play each other on Sunday, so they're going to take points off. So it's a huge opportunity for United to try and close that gap there, because City still have a game or two in hand or something of us. They do have a chance to go 6 points clear still, you know what I mean? So, it's going to be tough, but, I don't sound very confident, but, I think it all depends on how we start and how we approach the game. I don't think we should try and sit off Everton, because I think Ancelotti will be expecting that, you know what I mean? And I don't think Everton are going to want to jeopardise the record that they have at the minute away from home, where they've won 4 on the bounce. So, a draw might suit them. So I think the onus is going to be on us to come out and get them. You know what I mean? Get at them and get them to come out at us. So you're in behind them.
Yeah, boys. Yeah. I think that's solid, and we've covered a
Well
lot.
said.
But just on that, any predictions then, Ray? You gave a 1-0, but is that your prediction for the game?
I see it going that way, Roddy. I hope it
Yeah.
goes that way. Like, I don't see us, putting more than 2 goals past them, to be honest. It's not going to be that type of game. I don't think, anyway. I think we'll slug it out with them, and we'll get a goal somewhere, and we'll hold out for it and probe a little bit, and we'll come down to maybe us defending, a lot. And like Glenn was saying, like, it's a very important game. There's loads of games coming up, and some of the top teams up at that top end of the table are playing each other. So, like he was saying, these are the games that we have to, and the squad knows that, we all know that these are the games now. This one, the one after that, before the big one, is the ones we need to win. So we'll see if we have it.
And Glenn, would you put a score on it?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. That's the first thing. So I'm gonna go for 2-1 United. I agree with Ray. I don't think we're going to spank Everton. I don't think we're going to score more than 2. It's difficult to see how we're going to keep a clean sheet. Obviously, I want us to, but it's just, Calvert-Lewin at the moment is an absolute handful for any back four, any defenders. James Rodriguez in there was a really cute player, you know what I mean? So, 2-1 United. That's what I'm going for.
Happy days, boys. Well, listen, that's kind of the podcast for this week. We went through a lot of stuff there, a lot to take in, great opinions from the lads. And so I'm just going to answer that trivia question now. So the question was, which Premier League winner joined Everton from Manchester United in the summer of 1995? And the answer is Andre Kanchelskis, who swapped Old Trafford for Goodison, and Everton paid a record fee of £5 million at the time. So thanks for listening. That sums up this week's episode. We didn't get a chance to share our followers' comments this week because it was just so jam-packed, but I will make sure to get them in next week. So do share your thoughts with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can find us at The Devil's Bit. So join us next week, where we'll be looking ahead to that away game against West Brom, and we'll be looking back at the FA Cup tie that was against West Ham. So today we do want to recognise that it is the 6th of February, and that marks the 63rd anniversary of the Munich air disaster. A disaster where 23 people lost their lives, including 8 players, 3 staff members, 8 journalists, and members of the flight crew. So it's a dark day, and it's a dark day that the world was robbed of the greatest football team to ever come to English football, the Busby Babes. And they would have undoubtedly gone on to dominate English and European football leagues for many years to come. So here at the Devil's Bit, we're with the rest of the football world in remembering the flowers of English football, the flowers of Manchester.